Denial. This is when we refuse to accept reality or facts because they're too uncomfortable to face. For instance, someone might deny a medical diagnosis, insisting, "There's no way this is happening to me." Denial helps shield us from the immediate impact of distressing news, but staying in denial can delay necessary action. Repression involves pushing unpleasant thoughts, memories, or feelings into the unconscious mind. For example, someone who experienced a traumatic event might completely forget it, not realizing how it still affects their behavior. Repression protects us from overwhelming emotions but can lead to unresolved issues surfacing later. Projection. With projection, we attribute our own unacceptable feelings or thoughts to someone else. Imagine accusing a friend of being jealous when, deep down, you're the one feeling envious. Projection can make us feel less guilty but often damages relationships. Displacement. Displacement redirects emotions from their original source to a safer target. Picture someone angry at their boss taking out their frustration on a family member. It's a way to release built-up energy without confronting the actual source of anger. Rationalization. Rationalization is when we create logical explanations for actions or feelings that might otherwise cause guilt or discomfort. For instance, justifying an impulsive purchase by saying, "I deserved a treat after such a hard day." This defense helps us maintain self-esteem but can lead to avoidance of accountability. Sublimation. One of the healthier mechanisms is sublimation. It channels unacceptable impulses into socially acceptable activities. For example, turning feelings of aggression into a passion for competitive sports. Sublimation allows for constructive expression and personal growth. Regression. Regression happens when we revert to earlier stages of development during stress. A stressed adult might binge-watch cartoons or throw a tantrum like a child. It's a way of seeking comfort, but prolonged regression can hinder personal progress. Reaction formation. Reaction formation involves acting in the opposite way to how we truly feel. For instance, being overly kind to someone you secretly dislike. This mechanism keeps uncomfortable feelings at bay but can create internal conflict over time. Identification. Identification is when we unconsciously adopt traits of someone else to feel closer to them or to cope. For example, a child emulating a superhero's courage. While it can boost confidence, over-identification may blur personal boundaries. Intellectualization. With intellectualization, we focus on facts and logic to avoid emotional distress. A person might dive into the technical details of a medical condition rather than addressing their fear of the diagnosis. While it provides clarity, it can suppress necessary emotional processing. Compensation. Compensation involves excelling in one area to make up for perceived weaknesses in another. For example, someone who feels socially awkward might dedicate themselves to academic success. It can build self-esteem but may overlook deeper insecurities. Undoing. Undoing is an attempt to erase guilt or negative feelings by performing a positive act. For instance, apologizing excessively after an argument to undo the harm. While it reflects accountability, it might not address the root cause of the conflict. Splitting. Splitting sees the world in extremes. People or situations are all good or all bad. It's common in high-stress scenarios and helps simplify complex emotions but often leads to instability in relationships.